been a while since I've done a video, and so this one's been prompted by my wife's problem with a sacoriliac dysfunction, and you know, if you've got that, you know how debilitating any back pain can be. So, you know, without further ado, we'll get on with it, right? There's so much to it that we can't actually probably get through. We'll get through as much as we can in a short period of time. But really, basically, what we're going to be doing is stabilizing the muscles that hold the pelvis in place, and you know, making sure that the ilium and the sacrum don't actually move away from each other. The actual joint itself is more of a shock absorber than anything other. It's not really, you know, like a mobility socket. It's more like a shock absorber between the two. So what I want to do firstly is I'm just going to get everything kind of aligned up by doing Surya Namaskar B. So that's the first, and it's always a lovely practice to do pretty much at the start of any yoga practice or any kind of physical exercise that you're likely to do, because it will move all the major joints in the body. Exhale as we move into a forward fold, and then inhale as we move a half fold, jumping back into plank, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Taking 5 Ujjayi breaths. Now you can move, this is not part of the sequence, but you can just open up the hamstrings a bit now by just walking the legs. Feels good. While we're breathing into this, then jumping forward or stepping, and exhaling into forward fold, inhaling into half forward fold, exhaling into a chair pose, and coming up. Alright, so that's basically Surya Namaskar B. It's just a fabulous thing to do, and it's used all the time in all sorts of flow classes nowadays, so it's well worth understanding it and learning it. There's 12 postures in there, so it's well worth getting it, because you've always got a yoga practice in your hands when we do it. Now you can do it as many times as you like. As I said, we'll do it 3 times. We're just going to flow through this one now that you understand it, and you can come with me, do more if you want. And then just dropping down to our knees, taking a few cat-cows. Then we're just going to loosen up the area that we're going to strengthen. So coming down into this. So core stabilization is obviously important for hip mobility and health and stabilization. So we're going to work into the area of concern there. And the first exercise that we're picking is Cobra Pause, or should I say yoga asana. Cobra, right, we're going to use to just to, this is a Sphinx pose by the way, it's lovely lead up for it. But Cobra is going to strengthen up the multifidus, which is a group of muscles that hold the spine in place. So, and the rectus spine too, of course. So we're just going to bring our hands back a little bit, bring the feet together to tighten up the glutes. Also very important for stabilization, and we'll be definitely doing some of that. Taking a deep breath in and lifting up. And then letting go. Bring the head down and relaxing here. We're just going to take that posture one more time to strengthen up that area, the lower back area. So we bring our hands once again, taking a deep breath in. Lift up. Let go. Alright, so we're just going to take our hands out in front of us, stretch out the legs as far as they can, taking a deep breath in and lifting everything off the ground. And let go of that. Then drop back into a child's pose just to allow yourself to relax here for a moment. Just going to come up and take a back bend, camel pose, Ustrasana. So take your hands onto your buttocks and then just push the butt forward, look back, opening up the back. Open out the front, sorry, and just, giving yourself a nice little black back bend there. And let go. Okay. So with the twists in yoga and when it comes to sacoriliac, you're probably best to do a twist without the pelvis being on the ground. Now that doesn't negate you're in a class and you're doing a pelvic twist and your pelvis is on the floor, like Matsundrasana or whatever. Just be mindful that you want to try and stabilize rather than pull the ilium and the sacrum apart from each other. You want to try and let them come together. So here we're just going to take a twist. Right, we're going to take the hands out and then we're just going to twist and let the pelvis ride around. Let it ride around. So it's more about stabilizing through the knees here, as you can see, and the twist allows the pelvis to come round. Then come the other side, twist. Twist, keep the arms straight. I just saw me adjusting that because I was off in the trapezius, so we want to keep that on. Lifting up and turning, coming back to central position again. Squeeze the arms back and twist. And start again. So with the trunk, the multifidus, the transverse abdominis, right, and also the pelvic floor, right. So are areas that we need to be concerned about. And my wife is she had a surgery that cut her TAs, and this is part of the problem that she has with her pelvic stability. So we're gonna work into some yoga asana that will strengthen that area. So what I want you to do, so that you know what I'm talking about, is just bring your fingers so that they're up, just that you can feel the pelvis here, just inside there, and cough. That muscle that you feel flicking on and off, that's your transverse abdominis, and it's like a cummerbund for the whole pelvic area here. Now, your pelvic floor is when you squeeze the pelvic floor. You can feel it like squeezing the anus together, right, and then feeling that movement there. So that's another area that we're gonna work. All right. So we need to come onto our mats for this. And the first thing that you're going to do, right, is we're just going to bring the legs up, right, and you're going to tilt the pelvis forward. So we've got a pelvic tilt, and then you're going to take a deep breath in, let it go, and as you let it go, suck the tummy in as much as you can. Then let go. Tilt the pelvis in, take a deep breath in, let go, suck the tummy out, suck it in, go. Once again. And let go. All right, from here I'd like you to take your legs out in front of you. Right, now if you've got, this is advisable to bring your hands underneath your butt. So you're going to just help stabilize that area of concern. And then from here, and the lumbar section as well. And then from here, if you're capable, just bringing both legs up nice and slowly, and then taking one up and one down. One up, one down. We're going to do 20 of these nice, easy movements on each leg. I've already lost count. Say about 6. No, I've totally lost count, but that's probably about right. So do a few of them till you start to feel that area that I spoke about working. All right, so the gluteal group is obviously really important when it comes to hip stability, right? And so there's a number of muscles involved in that particular group. There's 4 groups when we come to pelvic stability, right? And the first one we're addressing is the gluteal glute. That's the right way of pronouncing it. So we're going to come into, firstly, we're going to come into the glute maximus. So all I want you to do here, right, is a bridge. So it's a bridge posture, taking a deep breath in, and then squeeze the butt up, holding the butt up as high as you can. Big squeeze up here. Squeeze. About 10 breaths here. And then we'll slowly let it down. All right, so now we're going to target the glute medius that is a gluteal group, but it's also an abductor group as well. So I want you to this time bring the feet together. So the soles of the feet are together, and then what we're going to do is we're going to press up, keeping the knees out, squeezing up, soles of the feet together, pushing up here. Keep the knees down, pushing up. Another 10 breaths. And let go of that. And then just relax for a moment.
Now you can do that as many times as you like. 3 is good, 3 times 10 breaths would be nice, would be a good way of doing it once to start, and then building from there as you get stronger in that area. So another area of concern when it comes to hip stability and how the hip is held is the iliacus group, which is the psoas and the iliacus, pretty much iliopsoas, sometimes referred to. So we're going to just do a little bit of stretch, and we'll stretch the glutes as well at the same time in this little sequence. So firstly, we're just going to come into a lunge. Bringing the foot forward and then dropping down into it. Take the hands around back behind the head like this, and then squeeze the elbows back so that you can drop into this. Feel the stretch through the front of the leg on the left hand side, but don't be lazy here. Push the elbows back and then breathe. And then from there we're going to come over and we're going to just take the leg down and come into a pigeon posture and just relax here. Now keep your pelvis square. So if you need to block it up so that it keeps it square, fine. Make sure you do. Just block it up like that so it's square. So we're getting a stretch down the in the glutes without tilting the pelvis. Good, and come out of that, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So left leg forward, dropping into it, hands in, interlacing the fingers behind the head, right, and then dropping down into the posture, breathing here. Push the belly forward. You can see that little adjustment that I'm trying to get as much as I can out of the posture. And let go of that. From here we're going to drop the left knee over. Once again, keep the pelvis stable and square by coming into using a block just underneath the buttocks. If you have to, look at both your pelvis off the ground, you're nice and flexy there, fine, you don't need to use the block. And just simply let go of that. Alright, so the next area that we're going to come into is the abductor group. And these are groups of muscles, and the abductor group is the abductor brevis, the abductor longus, the abductor magnus, the I can't remember the name of it now, the pesineus, yeah I think it is, and the gracilia. So, you know, a lot of long-winded stuff. So just think of it as the muscles that come in, the abductor muscles on the inside of the thigh. And so one of the great ways of getting this nice and loose in case it's over tight, pull you out, the pelvis and the hip joint out of alignment. So we're just going to come into there and drop down into it. Breathing here. So the next group is the lateral group, right? So the lateral rotator group that move the hip this way. And so one of the great ways of getting into that area is using part of a posture called Gomukhasana. And in Yin Yoga it's called Shoelace. So we're going to just do it as a Yin posture. We're going to hold it for a little while. So bringing your right leg over your left and get the left out of the way. Now you may, if you're like me, if you're not like me, you can maybe sit down in between your calf muscles. If you are like me, then I need to have something here so that I can just sit on that. All right, and as you're going to feel a real grungy area right in the hip here. And then from there, just relax. We're just going to close the eyes down and allow that posture to develop a la Yin Yoga. Now you can stay there as long as you like, but for the want of this video, I'm just going to come out now. So with Yin Yoga, we're looking at stretching the tendons and the ligaments and the fascia of the body, and that takes quite a long time so to get into that. So we're just going to swap the legs over and come to the other side. Once again, moving our block to where it feels relatively comfortable. We don't want to be sitting on our calf muscles. So we want to be sitting, so once again, we're looking to stabilize that area, right, the sacoriliac joint, so that it's not, the pelvis is not being pulled apart in any way at all. And so that's why it is important, if it's difficult for you, just use a block. And then you can just sit here. Gomukhasana uses the hands as well, but we're just going to leave the hands down and rest on the knee. As I say, this is called shoelace in Yin Yoga. And of course, if you're really flexing and your butt's on the ground, then you can come forward through it as well. So that's not happening for me. Alright, so we're just going to swap around out of that, and then we're just going to take a little bit of strengthening, more strengthening work before we come into a Shavasana. So take the right leg out and stretch it out as far as it can. Now I want you to definitely not let the hip ride up. The hip stays level. The leg comes up and once the hip starts to go, you're out of the posture in this instant. Take the other hand up and stretch. Stretch yourself out. Good, and let go of that. So once again, engaged in the core, taking the legs out, engaged through the glutes, stretching out the opposing hand, keeping the pelvis level, stretch. Keep the core engaged. And let go. So just tuck the toes over, coming into a downward facing dog, just walking out a little bit, breathing here, letting it all go. Coming down out of that, bringing the feet down in front of you, lying down, Shavasana. And then just let the posture go. And just think about healing taking place in your body. You can't do a yoga posture class, asana class, without there being changes. They might be subtle, but there will always be changes. It's a question of actions and consequences. There must be consequences for our actions, and there always is. And the consequences in yoga are positive ones, giving you more range of motion, etc. Stay here as long as you like. I'm going to close the practice for the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about sacoriliac or any displeasure in the lower back, that's part of what I do. So please get in contact, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Namaste.